I haven't really had the opportunity to write a script or record a video this week. And why? Because I've been busy doing 3 things. First, I've been streaming my first playthrough of Elden Ring, attempting to defeat all bosses, currently sitting at over 450 deaths. Catch me at twitch.tv/blobbertmcnugget. Second, I've been working on the script for the issues of One Piece Live Action Part 2, due to be released in December. And third, the thing I'll be talking about this video, I've been creating and have just started rigging my updated Vtuber model. It was part of my second checkpoint for this 5-month gap between the Point of East Blue and the Grandeur of Alabaster, so let me tell you how it's going. It was 2 or so years ago that I created my first 2 Vtuber models, my blob form and my human form, and 2 years is a long time, so I've been keen for an upgrade. I do love my OG blob, we've done a lot together, but I wanted something a bit more expressive, eyes that weren't just dark voids. So I started with my most recent blob design that I was happy with, the one that I created for my wedding video, and went from there. And now I'll cut over to Unscripted Blobbit, where I'll run you through the design process, the changes, the various model parts, the hiccups, the learnings, and all of that stuff, because it's less than 24 hours before this video is supposed to go up. Take it away, me. Hello, Live Blobbit here, and what you can see is here, an absolute dog's breakfast. So this is the file of everything as I was supposed to export it into Live 2D Cubism. And so in the past, when I first did rigging of this Vtuber model that you can see here, with my little wobbly bee blob thing, I think I'm not just misremembering, but you weren't supposed to group everything. You were just supposed to have it all flat as a, let's see if I can make this bigger. Yeah, not really. Doesn't change the size of the things to make it any more readable. But nothing was supposed to be grouped. You're all just supposed to have it as a single, non-grouped stack of layers. And so that's what I did, assuming that that was still the case with the more recent version of Live 2D Cubism, which is wrong, as I'll show you later. You can also see it's based on my original wedding design, which I think I've got it, ignore that for now, but yeah, it looked like this. This was the blob I designed for the wedding videos, and I was pretty fond of it, the more expressive eyes and so on. But back to this one. It's all facing to the viewer's right side, and if I hide... What do I hide? Let's hide the purple haze. Let's hide the desolate features, the desolate fog. Oh gosh, there's so much here. The desolate color, all the different expressions. Wait, not that one. There's so much here. Let's hide all the emotions. It's slowly getting cleaned up bit by bit. Hide that one. Those are the eye lines, the eye parts, the eye glows. We don't need to hide the blush. Where are all my funny expressions? Uh-oh, I can't find them. I'll hide the rimmer eyes, the desolate pupils, strong features, the maple eyes, the maple mouth. All these words will make sense when I show them off on the updated one. The handsome lips. Oh, this is this is my favorite. The inner mouth. So I'll show you when it comes to showing off the rigging setup. This is all designed to be clipped. So you can actually see if I turn on clipping, it all kind of works out in the end. It looks nice and clean, but without clipping, and I'll hide the mouth container so it looks even more horrific. You can see it all, like the teeth are absolutely horrifying when seen outside of the mouth. Yes, and you can see it looks a bit more clean now once I've hidden all those different layers. But if we move over now to Live 2D Cubism, so this is what it looked like when everything was properly clipped and hidden. Some things are just hidden on the editor, I haven't rigged them up. And as you'll see, this is version 2. There's actually a 2.1, and we'll get to that. So, first thing I learned when I imported this new version over was that actually you do want things to be grouped. So you do want it to be grouped into like face, eye left, eye right, special faces. That's a whole other story. That was actually incorrect of me to put these in here as well. I'll show you also with 2.1 that those were supposed to be like the individual features into the different eyes, etc., etc. But yes, then mouth, and then the outline fill, that's things like the body line and the body fill. If I get rid of the body fill, you can see all the glow and all of that is also outside of it because I am a big fan of clipping. And clipping, for those who don't know, you can see here, this is on a 2D screen, so it might actually be a bit difficult to see. But there's a clipping ID and you can make sure things clip to various items. So if I add this to the clipping ID, that bottom B part or maybe these parts, you can see that the glow now will only appear where the clipping IDs or the linked clipping IDs are. And that's how I kind of designed this blob one. For a human, I wouldn't recommend it. There's different things that you do here, but that's why I like rigging up my blob. It's a lot simpler than rigging up a human face. Then we get to the actual... So that was the first part, putting everything there. Like, ignore that changes. But what I learned about this new version of Live 2D Cubism is that they actually have an automatic generation of face motion, which is great. And you can choose, this is why you need to group things, because, okay, you choose your face, you can't choose individual parts, you actually have to choose the groups. So you go face, eye left, eye right, etc., etc., etc. You choose, this is the generating of the face deformers, which are these things which show you how you can deform the face. So if I was to do that, it doesn't change the underlying object. It's kind of like applying a transformation layer in an editing software. So first you do that one, and then you go over to the generate face motion, and then that shows I've already selected. I don't have ears, I don't have a nose. Wait, hang on, the mouth deformer. This is for some reason a little unaligned. So the mouth deformer looks like it's where the nose deformer is. But either way, then you generate like the X, angle Y, and then the corners. And so I've already done that, so I'm not going to redo that, but it's pretty simple. You can change like the strength of it. And so I did that with this model, hoping to save a lot of time. And I was like, oh, let's look up. That looks all right. Look down. Oh, it's clipping a little bit, but it looks all right. Looking to, I guess technically this is looking to the left, but for the viewer, it's looking to the right. Like, oh, that looks all right. And then you look in the other direction, and that's when things start to look a little scuffed. And especially because I've drawn the mouth on an angle, it doesn't just automatically work. And so I realized very quickly after applying this, okay, let's work with the new version of Live 2D Cubism. And I'm going to switch back to Critter. And so then I created the 2.1 version, which is face on. And first thing you can see, I've split. You can see the left eye here. I've got most of the left eyes. So not just the main eye design, which is, you know, this eye, but I've also split all the other eyes, all the special expressions, which I'll show off. And I had to split all those into individual eyes as well. So you can see I've got the maple left eye, the Rimuru left eye. Oh, and also just for reference, yes, the right eye, it looks like the right eye, when facing it, is disappearing. When you rig, it's actually like, if this was a face and it, you know, had consciousness, it would be their left. So not our left, not the viewer's left, but the model's left. So this is the model's left eye, and the model's right eye, the model's mouth. Mouth extensions, I haven't actually used that. That was an idea for... Oh, I'll get to it. But yes, the model's mouth and all of that, so that's now grouped. The Minecraft skin is its own kettle of fish, so I haven't even started rigging that one. But you can also now see it's now face on. Instead of being angled in one direction, now face on. And the reason I had it angled in the first place is you can see when I game and when I do a majority of the stuff, I'm looking in this direction. That's why I thought it might be fine having an angled face, but for this sake, no. In the end, it was much better to just do it face on and adjust it that way. So let's see the model 2.1, the version that I've been rigging. Oh, you can actually see that eye is a little more open because the other thing you do, I haven't rigged one eye. I've only started rigging Sorry, I haven't rigged the right eye, which is this eye in this scenario. I've only started rigging the left eye, and the reason you only rig one eye, you might draw both, but you only rig one because then you can copy and invert, and it saves you from having to try and match up both. But yeah, now with this change, I've also been in the middle of rigging the mouth, which is the hardest part. So let's just go. This is about. You can also see when I'm live, I'm a lot more scatterbrained. Something that is missing, which I've currently got hidden, are these little mouth ticks. I haven't rigged those yet because those are kind of a different story to the rest of the mouth. And if I close the mouth, it looks like I've got a tiny mustache. So that's why I'm just hiding those for now until I finish rigging them. Like literally, I've been actively rigging this, spent a few hours rigging this yesterday, doing like the mouth closed expression. So let's hide those again. And you can see now that things are more centered, when the automatic face warp is applied, it looks much cleaner now. Now, one of the big problems I actually do have is it's smart, but it's not that smart. So you see these teeth? If you were looking down at somebody's teeth, these are like the teeth behind. Where I don't have a good example with me right now, but in anime there's like the front layer of teeth, and then you'll see like the molars and stuff if you're seeing the character at the right angle. If you're looking down at someone, you're not going to see the top molars, you're going to see the bottom ones, and vice versa. If I go up in this direction, you should be able to see more of these in that one, and I'll have to adjust those manually, which is all fine. But aside from little discrepancies like that, it's looking pretty good. The interesting thing is, I'm not sure if it's just my model that isn't centered, but it actually goes more to the right than to the left. And the reason for that is, in my estimation, it's either that this isn't perfectly centered, which may actually be the case, or it's when it does this face warping, it takes all of everything into account to sort of determine the center and determine what, like, it'll put the face rig, the face warp, over the top of everything. And I believe it's slightly more to the right. Actually, it doesn't look like it. I might be speaking out of my butt. And the reason for that is in one of my eyes, you see a slight discoloration here. I've actually got an eye shadow, which is clipped to the eye background, which I'll show off now. This isn't the way that you're supposed to do eyes, but I can do it because of my blob's characteristics. So I clip everything in the eye, including the pupil, to this sort of colored area. So that's why the shadow is there, but the shadow itself, if this makes sense, this is the left eye. Let me find if I can see it. Yeah, the eye shadow left. If I were to remove that clipping, or if I just remove that, you can see it for some reason extends all the way back here, which was dumb of me. I should have made that so it was more concentrated around the eye. That was short-sighted of me, but whatever. But because that one extends more out this way than the other one, it angled it slightly more when you're looking in this direction, if that makes sense. I may have just been rambling either way. So let's show off what I've done so far. Month isn't over, checkpoint isn't done yet. Haven't finished the redesigns yet, but I kind of enjoy this. I should have been rigging this on stream, but I've also just been streaming a ton of Elden Ring, which is a lot of fun too, but that's a whole other situation. So let's turn on the body fill and show off this new design's features. Obviously, compared to this blob, I've got a big fondness for this blob right here. I've gone through a lot with it. It was a great learning experience, but compare the expressionness and if we look up that way and then look that way, it's just a bit flat compared to this one. But the real tour de force is all the different expressions I've added in. So, for reference for my old one, I have added in some old eyes. So I've added those in. I love this one, my handsome expression. And the other good thing, because I've now split the eyes and all of that, and the handsome lips and the where are they called? I think they're called strong eyes. Yeah, the strong eye right and left. Because they're attached to the face warp, I don't really have to... I had to adjust where the pupils went. And you can start to see, I've actually put some color around the lips, which means it does clip over, but I kind of think it's charming that it's a little scuffed like that. And that means I can do stuff like this where I move the eye and I look down on you. Not that I would. Not that I would ever. But yes, so those new features, and they work across all the expressions. This is an emote in my Discord, and so I thought I'd add that in as well. Once again, another thing. When I've died 60 times against a single Elden Ring boss, this is the perfect desolate expression for that. We'll certainly be getting a lot of use once I figure out how to properly configure my Stream Deck. I thought it should do some nods to some famous blobs / slimes. So, you know, I enjoy reincarnated as a slime. Enjoy watching it with my honey. So I've added this. I'm probably going to try and add some emotion to these eyes. So if I do switch to it, it won't just be the blank expression, but I can add like slight anger, etc., 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 in place of a mouth. Then there is, if I ever do One Piece content, I've got the hat ready, which I've also got to move. It kind of doesn't really move as you would expect it, but I have got the hat. And then one from my childhood. I used to play MapleStory as a kid, so I had to make a MapleStory reference. And I probably will try and rig the mouth somewhat. You can see there's a little bit of error there. I need to fix that up, but yeah, I decided to add MapleStory slime. But I am a blob, not a slime. There's a difference. I don't know what that difference is, but there is one. The other things that I've been doing so far, I've shown the eyes. I've rigged one eye, but only its opening and closing. I haven't done the eye smile yet. So that needs a bit of a work before that one's ready. And then, like I was saying, the absolute hell that is the mouth. So I've done the things for the most open, the second most open. I've done the smallest amount of mouth form, which is generally like the sadness of your mouth, if that makes sense. And then I've done all the closes. But then otherwise, oh yeah, and I've done the default expression here, but you can see there's a lot of it hasn't been done. Rigging up mouths are always the worst. But we're getting there. Hopefully that'll be done soonish. And that's kind of a run through of the features. There's still so much more to do. Got to rig up the breathing, got to rig up the physics, like you can see on this one here. If I wobble my head back and forth, my bee sort of wobbles back and forth continuously without me doing anything. And there's also the pulsing, which just actually, if I let me zoom in here, make myself a bit bigger, and you can see I'm pulsing a little bit because that's the default resting breathing animation for this model. And yeah, that was a bit scatterbrained, that explanation. I might as well explain why I've done the clipping method. I do it because it makes it a lot easier to do these things. So you see how it's overlapping here, and as it moves, it means I don't have to rig up or pay attention to the shape of this, and I don't have to warp it or deform it whenever I move it. I can just have an overlapping shape, and that way when things move, I don't have to, it's just there. And it gives a nice 3D effect without me actually having to worry about deforming it to make sure it's always on screen or clipping in any sort of way. And that's why it goes so low as well. So if I look down or move down, it's still in frame. Same with going up. So yeah, work in progress. Hopefully we'll have a full thing ready to show off. The other thing that I'm hoping to do is, all right, we're back. No longer have to cut. Let's go back to here. So this is for the next One Piece one. I'm going to see if I can rig potentially the Merry up, the Merry and Blobbit combo here, and then use it for chapter reviews. So that it wouldn't be as detailed a rigging. Like maybe I would do the blink, and then I would just have, much like I had the different specialties for the different expressions. Sorry. So I would have something I could toggle to turn on the different Merry emotions and Blobbit emotions, etc., and do it that way. And so that way it could speed up chapter review stuff. Though, the reason there isn't a chapter review for the last chapter, and actually as I'm recording this, there's no chapter this week because Oda is in poor health, so hopefully he's doing better and he deserves a week break. But I'm going to do essentially every alternating Saturday a more detailed and in-depth review. But that doesn't mean I don't want to speed up the production process. It might make the reading and the analysis and the script writing process a bit slower, but as always, the chapter reviews, I want minimal editing and a good One Piece themed model that I could rig up would be a great way to speed that up. Not sure how much of this I'll cut. I know there's a lot of rambling. But yeah, Live Blobbit is out. Alright, thank you, Live Blobbit. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Here's the mouth guide I've been using, and otherwise, thank you for watching. Not really a structured video, and I know my unscripted self tends to ramble, but hopefully you've got something out of it, seeing a basic overview of drawing and layering and rigging a VTuber. If you've got any interest in it, I'd suggest giving it a try yourself. It can be fairly fiddly, but to get something basic rigged isn't the hardest thing in the world. And with that, I'll say goodbye. And remember, it's not I attempt new things, it's we attempt new things. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fruitful day.